everyone, thank you so much for watching the video I made. I thought a lot of the conversation was super interesting. There was a lot of support, which is really rad. There was a lot of opposing opinions that were really respectful and really insightful. Not all of them I agreed with, but some of them I did agree with and I hadn't considered before, and it was really valuable to hear that kind of perspective, so thank you so much. Yeah, I feel really good about all the constructive and productive conversation that happened, but there was also a huge shitstorm. So thank you if you weren't a part of the shitstorm, but if you were a part of the shitstorm, ooh, fun, you get a video today. Basically, I want to talk about who I block, and I want to know, if you would block these people. So I think we're going to go, through the comments, and we're going to go, we'll number the folks. I'll be person 1, person 2, and I'll tell you, whether or not I'd block them or whether or not I'd be on the fence, because sometimes I feel like y'all don't understand why I block so many people, because so many people say some pretty shitty things, and I just want you to be made aware of some of the stuff that I am faced with, and therefore try to not be faced with in the future, because it's abusive or spammy or manipulative or just totally incorrect and, in my opinion, harmful. And I'm not dragging this person, I'm just blocking them so they don't show up in my comments. So I want to know if you would block these people. Now, I also want to put out there that before I posted this post, because we're going to go on the Instagram post about this that I posted yesterday, before I posted, my hair is so gross. I am wearing what I wore yesterday. I went to bed in it. Before I posted this post, I put a lot of really intense words in my blacklist. So actually, the stuff we're about to read, oh my gosh, is pretty vanilla compared to what I normally get. And the things that I blocked were abomination, embarrassment, a lot of violent stuff, a lot of trigger warning for super violent and suicidal ideation, kill yourself, and stuff like that. So none of that came through, and usually a lot of that comes through. So we're just kind of looking at some of the more vanilla hate, and I want to know whether or not you'd block these people. Some of these people I'm going to be covering, and I wouldn't even block them, but I think they have interesting thoughts, and I want to know your thoughts. So let's talk about poster number 1. You can tell me if this person showed up in your comments, if you would block them. So they said, fun fact, transgender men who are genuinely dysphoric don't want people to know they're trans. They want to be treated normally. It goes on. They wanted to be treated normally. They don't want to be looked at as they're women with women bodies and scars on their chest. A vast majority are dysphoric trans men who don't like curves. So yeah, basically the nugget of the post that I want to focus on is, fun fact, transgender men who are genuinely dysphoric don't want people to know they're trans, ! So I'm not going to block this person. I wouldn't block this person, but I absolutely 100% disagree. And I think stuff like this isn't a good message to send. I think that there are transgender men out there who want to be stealth, and that is totally okay. Like I said before, I will never shame a person for being stealth. I totally get why a human might want that. I don't think they're immoral. I don't think I'm any better than them because I don't want that. But I think that erases a lot of the people who are okay with being out and are okay showing pride. And I think that makes them feel super invalid. So it makes them feel not a genuine trans man. And also, why are we only talking about trans men? Especially because, the shirts, which you're referring to, were made by and based off a non-binary body. And like I said yesterday, non-binary people can't be stealth. So to, this message that in order to be trans, you have to be stealth, you're also totally erasing non-binary folks. It's impossible for us to be stealth, no matter how, I'll be honest, there are definitely days where if I could be stealth, I would. I'd be today I don't want to talk about trans things. Today I don't want to, today I just love to be. I would. But that's impossible for me. It doesn't exist. For me to be stealth, it's just me passing as a girl. And that's not it, because being stealth is passing as your actual gender, and my actual gender isn't a girl, so I can't be stealth. So to promote the idea that if you're not stealth, you're doing it wrong, I absolutely disagree with. Would you block this person? I would not block this person, but I did want to talk about them. And then people did reply in the comments. Somebody said, like, I'm a trans man and I don't want to be seen as a cis man. Somebody said, exactly, I'm non-binary trans max, and because of my height and other factors, I will always be misgendered as she, her. And then they tried to, like, goat me into talking about, like, my dysphoria and stuff, and, like, whether or not I, like, have it, and it's just like, oh my gosh, this is, like, super personal, and, like, not, I don't have to, like, prove things to you. Okay, now let's talk about poster number 2. This person says, you keep glorifying anything trans-related and hoarding labels and identities to feel more progressive. The merch, it's not merch, is just another reminder that had you not elbowed your way into the trans community, you wouldn't be able to speak and pander to a community you're so misinformed about. So would you block this person? Honestly, for me, people who, like, imply that I'm not really trans, that I've just, like, elbowed my way into the community for attention or in order to have an audience or in order to, like, capitalize on things or, like, get social gain, those are, like, in the air for me whether or not I block. Because, like, obviously, clearly this person is, like, anti-label identity and things like that, which obviously does not, like, align with what I believe. I think diversity is super cool and amazing. I'm not going to block this person, but typically, like, when people say, like, you're not really trans, you're faking your dysphoria, you're a trender, you don't belong in this community, you shove your way into it, that's usually a toss-up on the kind of person I would block, because it's, like, a reflection of absolutely an insecurity I have, because it took me so long to admit to anyone, even though I had been, like, painfully thinking about it for so long that I was trans. So it's like looking in the mirror about the thing I'm super insecure about. Would you block this person? Also, I'd like to say, like, I definitely think, I replied to this person and I said, I think you should watch the video, and I also think it's totally okay to celebrate transness and explore different identities. And they replied, which I think is funny, I will watch it. Thumbs up. Thanks for responding nicely, even though I sounded like a bitch. And it's like, oh my gosh. I love it when people's tune change, like when I reply to them, it blows my mind. Also, like, why would you leave a comment in the first place if you knew you sounded like a bitch? Why wouldn't you, I don't like that word, but that's the word they used. Why wouldn't you just, like, leave a respectful comment? But whatever. Oh, okay, then there's poster number, am I on 3? I think I'm on 3. Poster 3, hey, can you stop faking your dysphoria and stay out of trans spaces? So this is typically a kind of person I would block, like I said before. If you say that I'm faking things or I'm a trender, like, I'm usually not into that, and I would block somebody like that. Your thoughts? And then I just responded, I said, like, hey, I just want you to know, like, people who say fake dysphoria are the kinds of folks I block. I wasn't gonna, like, do that and then block him to be like, haha, I was just, like, letting them know. Like, hey, like, this isn't the kind of thing that I'm, like, we can talk about the issues if you want, but, like, you just, like, blatantly, like, accusing me of being fake isn't something that I like in my comments, and I'm just, like, want you to know that if you want to, like, continue to, like, be around. And I said, I don't know you, but I would never say you fake your dysphoria. And then they just went on to say, like, it's hard to believe you, like, have dysphoria, blah, 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 blah. And again, I was like, again, I have dysphoria, I have a diagnosis, and if you told me you had dysphoria, I would never tell you I didn't believe you, because I think that's just super policing and, like, unproductive, just to be like, you know, I'm just gonna, like, have feelings about who I think has dysphoria. So yeah. Then there's this one person that I think is really interesting. We'll call them poster number 4. So I said to somebody, and this isn't poster 4, but I'm going to tell you the context of when poster 4 comes in. I said, you've copy and pasted the exact same thing more than once in the comments, and blocking spam is something I do to keep the section productive. And somebody said, oh yeah, glad you saw that, because I have, like, 6 spam bot accounts. So, like, they're just, like, they're either being sarcastic, or they're admitting that they spam a lot. Either way, they truly do spam a lot because they were just copying and pasting the same thing in like every thread, and it's like, get out. Like, you're just like genuinely just you're just screaming your message and nudging your way into everything. So like, no, it's not gonna like accomplish anything. So they admitted, glad you saw it because I have 6 spam bot accounts, and I said, yeah, spam bot accounts, not the most productive way to communicate a message. And then this is where poster number 4 comes in. And it starts okay, but it gets intense. You are getting karma for these shirts. They're streaming along and promote the wrong message. If you had respect for the trans community, you'd stop promoting and selling them, but you only care for the check. And I said, nope, because half the people like didn't like care to listen to anything I said or watch the video, which we're gonna probably talk about with like poster 5 or 6. I said, nope, if you watch the video, you learn that the shirts were never for sale. I didn't make a profit from them. Feel free to watch the video and learn more before you comment stuff like this, because it's inaccurate. And they said, sorry, I watched the video. You just wanted social justice points. The shirts shouldn't be sold nor given away. It promotes an extremely wrong message. Stop. Make another set of shirts, maybe. No, though. You won't, because you're the cis bitch on Wi-Fi who wants to argue with the trans people about whether a shirt is offensive or not, or even trans. Just like your book, The ABCs of LGBT, and then in all caps, there is no ABCs of LGBT. It's literally just LGBT. You do not realize how much of a negative impact you have on our community, and you're a grown woman. Woman, that's nice. So, some little misgendering there. But, I mean, are you surprised they called me a cis bitch? You're a grown woman who argues with teenagers online over shit that could be easily resolved. And that's another thing. A lot of the like posters are super young, which is complicated for me. Because, yeah, truly, I would rather not, like, interact with folks who are like really young and emotional and impulsive, but at the same time, like, I also like to keep my comment section like respectful and productive. So if they're saying bad things, yeah, I'm going to either say like, hey, that's not the best thing to say, or like, I'm going to delete it, or things like that. I just replied, I said, you can feel this way. You don't have to think I'm trans. You can call me cis. You can say I'm stupid. I disagree. I know my identity is valid, and I love learning about the diversity in the community. It reminds me that folks see the world through many different views. Heart. I was just like, whatever. I can take it. Like, if you want to say all this shitty stuff to me, you can. But I know that I'm valid. And then they, like, fucking flipped. They, like, absolutely flipped. They're like, could I civilly DM you about this? I want to bring up some points your fans might find offensive with the shirts. And then I said, I can't lie. After you call me a cis bitch, I'd rather not have a private convo with you. Hope you understand. And then they were like, yeah, I get that. It's a spineless insult, though. I honestly don't know if you're cis or trans, pulling the ooh, you Tumblr attitude as a facade. So yeah, a lot of these people are true scum folks. They really don't like Tumblr genders. They think that I am a Tumblr gender. They think that anything that, like, even edges on, they hate social justice. So, like, a lot of people are young, and this is where they're coming from. They don't think I'm trans. So a lot of it definitely, like, is way more loaded than just the shirts. It also just, like, it has to do with, like, my identity. Like, my transness isn't invalid. A lot of people don't think non-binary genders are valid. A lot of people don't believe in my dysphoria. A lot of people are young, and like that's where a lot of it is coming from. Just in context. They're like, but I'm going to DM you my opinion about it. And then I didn't read it. Because honestly, I can tell that this person, in my opinion, the way that, like, what I'm getting from this person is they are, like, young and impulsive, and they just flip. Like, on a dime. And I just don't, first of all, after, like, being, like, called horrible things, I'd rather not talk to you. And also, I'm honestly afraid to talk to you, because I feel like I just don't feel safe in the conversation, because, like, you flip so much, and I just, like, don't know what's gonna set you off, and you very much seem like somebody who's, like, all about, like, exposing and posting a ton of shit, so, like, I didn't, like, apparently they sent me a DM, but I'm, like, I reserve the right to preserve my mental health and not read it. But what I think is funny is later they came back with, like, not in the same thread, just, like, much later, in a regular comment, they said, if you would read my DM, it has points that are very clear. And, like, I think it's nice that this person, like, wants to really reach out and communicate. But again, like, it's a little too late, because you called me a ton of shitty things. So I said, you probably don't give a flying fuck about what anyone wants to say, but you do have young fans that are impressionable, please read. And it's like, oh my gosh, like, you don't, like, I'm trying to respond to, like, every single comment in this Instagram, and it is toxic as fuck. So for you to say I don't give a flying fuck, like, blows my mind. And it also shows me how, like, you flip from being civil to being, like, angry really fast. Like, please read my DM. You probably don't give a flying fuck. It's just like, oh, sorry, I don't mean to, like, so this is, like, probably a person I'm going to block. Definitely after making this video, because I don't want anybody to find this person and, like, send them hate. So I wouldn't want you to be able to, like, find them in the comments. But, you know, you can definitely get a read on whether somebody's, like, actually going to have a conversation with you or not. And then somebody commented, they've been all over this comment section and talking to people and addressing thoughts and concerns. And then they said, WTF are you on about? Probably don't give a flying fuck about what anyone has to say. And I appreciated that. Thank you. Then, shoot, I can't find it. I think it's by the same person, but I could be wrong because a lot of people have super similar usernames and profile pictures. But then, I'm pretty sure later they just commented, so again, like an hour later, because they just, like, can't leave, like, kind of a cunt, aren't ya? Like, so, like, would you block that person? I forget what we're on, poster number whatever. Would you block that person? I'm curious. And maybe the last comment wasn't from them. Maybe that last comment, the kind of a gun, aren't you, was from someone else. We'll call them, I don't know what number we're on, so we're just going to skip way ahead. We'll call them poster 7. If poster 7 was an individual person, would you block them? Of course. I would. And then somebody was like, I love that you don't realize how fucked it is to encourage actually dysphoric trans people. So again, that implies that I don't have dysphoria. To hurt themselves by double binding, which is just the most confusing thing in the world, because the shirt has nothing to do with double binding. If you, like, read the text on the shirt, it absolutely says, like, I'm not wearing a binder under this binder, and the binder, the under the binder is just the shirt. So, like, you wouldn't even be wearing a binder. So I'm, like, baffled, because a couple people think it encourages double binding, which it absolutely doesn't. If you, like, some fun more context about the shirt, so like I said, it was made surrounding my body and my image around my top surgery, so I kind of wanted to make a shirt that reflected me before surgery, hence the binder, and then after surgery, hence the torso shirt. So the before surgery one, I thought could be a fun PJ shirt, and I thought that it could be, like, a fun way to promote, like, safe sleeping for trans folks, because you don't want to bind when you sleep, but sometimes it can be hard to say goodbye to your binder, right? Well, I know that I remember what, at least that's what I thought. I thought, like, taking off your binder, I mean, it physically feels good. It's like, but then you're, like, really insecure and you don't like to look at yourself and stuff like that. So in some way, a binder is kind of like a comfort, like a comfort blanket. So it can be hard to say goodbye to it when you take things off, but you definitely don't want to sleep in your binder. So I thought it could be a fun, like, PJ shirt where you don't have to say goodbye to your binder. It encourages non-binding sleeping. So it is absolutely the opposite of double binding. So let's say, so poster number 8. I love that you don't realize how fucked up it is to encourage actually dysphoric trans people to hurt themselves and double bind. And I said, this is super, and then it was longer. They said, oh, maybe because you don't realize how much your behavior is hurting actual, in all caps, trans people. Being trans is not a fucking fashion statement. Fuck off with your bullshit. So there's just lots of swearing and stuff, but I just wanted to kind of focus on the meat. So I replied, like, this is super hostile and not accurate at all. I'd like you to explain to me how you think the shirt, like, encourages double binding. Like, I'd want to know, like, where you thought that came from. I said, and then I explained, I said, the shirt says that the wearer is not even wearing a binder. It's actually meant to be a PJ shirt to promote safe binding. This is the kind of information that, like, I think is frustrating. I get that you're angry, but there's no need to be disrespectful. And definitely make sure what you're saying is accurate. And they said, well, whatever. Whatever you meant, it's still glorifying a toxic message. And it's like, yeah. So I think I mean, I wouldn't block this person. Well, I might because of all the swearing and, like, calling it bullshit and stuff. Not because they, like, misunderstood, thought it was double binding, but, so, like, would you block this person? now let's talk about poster number 9. So poster number 9 basically was like expressing that they were super, super upset. But they were saying things that like weren't quite accurate, and so some folks were like talking to this poster number 9, and saying like, you should watch the video. Like, I think like you're missing some stuff. I wasn't even really involved in this thread. And then they said like, I refuse to give the views. I'm absolutely not going to watch the video, which is fine. If you don't want to watch the video, you don't have to watch the video. It's going to give, like, you information, and especially if you've been asking, like, me to address things, like, I would think that's what you'd want, but, like, whatever, that's fine. Somebody said, so you're not giving Ash the views on the video, literally addressing your concerns? It really sounds like she couldn't have done anything to change your mind, no matter how profusely, like, they say they're sorry. If you're upset and you want to resolve the situation, it seems like you'd want to hear their response and then bring it up for further disagreement. And then they said, and again, this is kind of where, like, I talk about, like, a lot of the people are young. They're young and they're angry, and I feel really bad for them. This is where poster number 9 says, this is the internet, and I'm a teenage boy, and I don't care what the response is. I want my words heard. And they go on to talk about how it's a mockery, and they've, like, they swear, and they say, like, they've heard enough comments to kind of piece together what the video's probably about, so they don't need to watch it, and things like that. And then somebody who sent a really long reply that said, honestly, you don't have any idea what's going on here. You don't know anything about the situation. And they're like, you're not giving Ash views, you're educating yourself more on the situation. Like, your pure ignorance and stubbornness is ridiculous. Blah, 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 blah. They're basically like, that doesn't make any sense. You can't, like, try to, like, if you don't actually know what's going on, you can't, like, accurately, you don't have any, like, grounded claims. Which also, like, I don't, like, this doesn't bother me enough to, like, block or even really bring up. This is just all context to something that it's getting to. And then this is what I want to talk about, because it's super sad. It talks about, it basically comes to this idea that a lot of these people are really driven by, like, so much pain and hate. And, like, it doesn't matter. Like, just seeing other people love themselves is going to trigger them, because they are holding in so much pain and so much hate. And I'm gonna skip some parts of the comment that are triggering, but basically it goes on. It says, like, how they experience crippling dysphoria, essentially. And they say, I think I know what I'm talking about. I know the other side. I know the message. To be proud of who you are, no matter what people say. It's just degrading at this point to see all these new genders and shit pop up. I want to be cis, and I believe that's what makes me trans. I cannot fathom how anyone would think otherwise. You don't know me personally, so don't assume I don't know both sides. I wouldn't talk shit if I didn't have a reason to. And, like, in the beginning of that, they, like, said some really sad things about themselves, so I finally chimed in, and all I said, because I didn't want to be in this argument, was, I hope you can find some peace in who you are, friend. Heart. And then the argument continued more, and then they said, you do realize that Ash isn't the first person to preach this, right? I know what people like Ash preach, because I used to preach it too before I realized I was hiding a mask of comfort. I have no respect for people who preach that everyone can be happy. Stop ignoring blatant issues. So this person doesn't have any respect for people who preach that folks can be happy. And he was talking about how miserable he is, and, like, how, like, that's what makes him trans, and people who, like, try to love themselves, like, he doesn't have any respect for it, and I just think that is heartbreaking. Sorry, I'm gendering this person, because their profile picture looks masculine. They might not be a guy. I'll try to say they. But I understand that not everyone can be happy, but, like, there's nothing wrong with a message of, like, putting out hope, and, like, for folks who are interested, trying to be happy and trying to find self-love. No part of me ever shamed anyone who wasn't happy. If you're not happy, if you hate yourself, I'm not going to shame you for that. I'm not going to be like, what a shitty trans person. Fucking love yourself more. Like, that is not anything that would ever come out of my mouth. But also, I know that a lot of people do want to find that, and some people don't, and fine. Like, live your life. You probably don't like my channel. But there's also nothing wrong with trying to like promote positivity and love and trans pride. But a lot of these people are just like they can't handle that because they're so defined by hate and how much they hate themselves. And like I said before, they're super young. And it breaks my heart. It makes me really sad. So I feel super bummed for this teenage boy. Well, he said he was a teenage boy, right? Okay, I wasn't misgendering him. I feel really bad for him. That would suck. I hope one day you can find some peace. I don't know what that would look like for you or what you want it to look like. But loving different kinds of bodies and trying to find pride, that when other people do those things, it doesn't threaten you. You just gotta let people do what works for them. And if you can't love yourself, then you can't. But other people can, and I don't think you should, like, take that away from anyone. So would you block this person? I don't know. Based on... Well, here, actually, let me see. Well, they blocked... I was going to go to their profile and see if it was scary. They blocked me. So they've blocked me. But they've still... Even though all I said was, I hope you find peace. So they blocked me. So they clearly, like, don't want me to be a part of their anything. Except for on their terms. Like, I don't know if, like, they unblock me and comment. Or because I checked earlier and I think I was blocked too. So I don't know. And they commented, like, since... I'm not sure what happened. But, like if somebody doesn't... They've clearly communicated that they don't like me. They don't even want to see me. So, like, is it fair for me to, like, also block them? Like, we're both causing each other negativity. Don't you think it would be smart to, like, go our separate ways? Now, based on that thread isn't necessarily why I would block him, even though there was definitely certainly some swearing in that thread. And I always find that, like, combative and hostile and not productive. But he also jumped in on, like, 8 other threads, and it was like, ooh, like, ugh. Eventually it gets, like, really spammy and, like, coercive to be, like, I feel, like, coerced to be, like, made to listen to this specific viewpoint, and, like, it will be, like, hammered in until I reply, and it's just like, holy moly. You are not the only one in the comments section. So actually based on that, spam is, like, maybe the biggest thing that gets to me, to be honest. Would you block this person? I hope one day you realize the impact you made on the trans community. You made a fucking dent in the trans community. Little by little, your shitty belief of gender made my SJWs and me confused as to who I truly am. Oops. As to who I truly am. I'm not going to sit here and listen to your bullshit. And then they said, you make money off real trans people's misery. I hope to be in your next video, you SJW radfem Tumblr scum. So, like, would you block somebody who called you, like, an SJW radfem Tumblr scum? Like, would you do it? This is poster number 10. Would you block poster number 10? Then there's people who, like, were just arguing about how obnoxious my pronouns are when I never even brought it up. Somebody else switched pronouns when talking about me, and I said, watch out, when I do that, all hell breaks loose. And they're like, no way, really? And then all hell broke loose. Those people said, like, I'm dumb as fuck. Yeah, they said my pronouns are dumb as fuck. No one's going to respect the trans community when you're switching pronouns every other sentence. Switching is stupid. So when somebody calls you dumb as fuck and stupid, like, would you block them? That's poster 11. Would you block them? Anyway, there's way, way, way more. And actually, lots of them are much worse. But this video's too long, and a major bummer. Maybe I'll do some comments that, like, were positive, or, like, even, like, opposing opinions, but constructive. Maybe I'll do that next video. Or maybe we'll just totally move on from this. Who knows? But the next thing that I post hopefully isn't, like, so negative, because unlike other humans in the world, I'm not all about that negativity. I don't love hating myself. I don't love, like, reveling in misery, and my misery does not define me. That's just not how I like to live my life, and I'm allowed to do that. but I'm interested in, like, your take of only this tiny little snapshot of some of the comments. Like I said, I could go on and on, but how long is this video? It's like 30 minutes, so I won't. Anyway, take care. As always, I love reading your comments. I love reading your opinions. You're a really insightful group on this second channel. My hair is such a mess. Thank you for that. I look dumb. The webcam is mirrored, so whenever I try to straighten my hat, I actually have to move it the opposite way that I'm looking, so it's very confusing. I just end up going like this. Anyway, all right, take care. I love you guys. Bye.